These are all my own personal opinions and I'm not here to offend anyone, but you know, I'm being honest, I'm not a fake person and disgusting like I explained about last week. I'm real and honest and true. You're just gonna have to cope. Tea and biscuits. So for underrated books, I'm also going to put them under the not as well known / not as well publicised category, because these books are not bad. They're not read by people and they think they're bad, but I think they're good. They're actually really, really good and would be rated really highly if they were better publicised. So the first one is Eon by Alison Goodman. I think it is an absolutely fantastic high fantasy novel and more people should read it. You know, some people have read it in the book community and outside of the book community, but not many people. It is so good, definitely matching those top high fantasy novels that a lot of you will have read already. You know, the characters in this one are unique and different and exciting. The plot is intricate and vivid and the writing just, you know, it is absolutely fantastic. You just need to read it because it's a great high fantasy series with the dragons and everything, and I just think it's great. I've just thrown the phone on the floor and knocked it as I was saying that. And then two of us I think were picked by George, but you know, I totally agree with her. Warriors by Erin Hunter and Scudagory Pleasant by Derek Landy. Both children's series, they kind of contrast a little bit. Warriors is really well known in America, but not in the UK. Scudagory Pleasant is the other way around. Known a lot more in the UK, but not as much in America. I think some people are sometimes put off by Warriors because they think it's about cats. It sounds absolutely stupid, and they don't even like cats. And I just think, why do you think that? You should just give it a go before getting an opinion on it because it's so, so good. Don't diss it and disregard it because it's a children's series, because it's absolutely amazing. Better than a lot of YA books, to be honest. And then Scudagory Pleasant, exactly the same. Such a great plot, such a great character in there. All the characters, in fact, are great. So definitely, again, one that you must check out. And now for my probably quite unpopular opinions on overrated books. The first one that I have to mention, which I don't want to, but I have to be honest, say Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling is a little bit overrated for me. George did touch on this, but people do go way over the top. It is not as good as some people make out, and I think that, you know, there are people that don't even read the books but say it's an absolutely amazing series and they're intense fans. Well, to be honest, they're not, because they haven't read the books. The books are so much better than the films, and I've actually been rereading the series and I read books 1 to 4 in summer, and for me, the pacing is very inconsistent and it doesn't always drag you in with your attention. And for me, I don't know if it's necessarily as good as some people make out. I still enjoy it and I think the characters are great and the plot has some great elements, but I just think that it's maybe not as good as some people say. And then I'm going to have to say Twilight. I think a lot of people will maybe agree with me because I do think it's very, very bad. Very, very badly written, and I think the characters are very weak and limp. I did read a sample on my Kindle actually since I got it, and I just thought, what on earth? What do people see from this? It's not good. And then Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. I'm not going to touch on this too much because I know I could be quite offensive, but I really went off John Green's writing style and his humour in this because it just doesn't work for me, and for me it's not a proper humour. If you would like to know more about this, go to my personal channel where I basically always complain about this. And then The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. This is a book I think that isn't necessarily bad. I can see why people like it. I don't see why there's so much hype, but for me it's probably just not my kind of thing. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it. I found it a little bit dull, a little bit boring compared to everyone else, but you know, it wasn't too bad. I just didn't really like it that much, so I suppose it was too bad. And then the final one is one that I absolutely cannot stand, and I have strong opinions on this. No, I haven't read it. No, I will not dare read this book because, you know, my life would really be pointless if I was reading this book, because why would I bother? You know, what is the point of reading 50 Shades of trash cans, let's call it, or garbage or something? Really, I think rubbish. You know, I've not read it, I've heard about it. Who would want to read it? I mean, it sounds absolutely disgusting. I know quite a few people that have actually read it, and a lot of people say it's so addicting, and I'm just thinking, well, the book is probably quite bad. You know, maybe if you read a real book or a proper book which you can't seem to be bothered to read, you would actually love reading, because seriously, there are so many better books than that, so many more addicting books. go read some good books that I've mentioned, and just, you'll love them, because I know I'm not necessarily talking to people in the NerdzReadBookishly viewer community kind of thing, but if you have read that and you're not a huge reader, maybe you're watching for some reason, I'm just going to have to say you really need to sort yourself out and read proper, good books. So that's really going to be everything for this week, I think. I've nothing really else to say. I kind of talked more about the overrated books. I always have strong opinions. I'm sorry that I never like, or seem to like, very, very hyped up books. A few exceptions include The Hunger Games and things like that, but for me, I'm always disappointed in hyped books, so maybe that's why a lot of the books that I mentioned were very hyped, and I think they're overrated. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Comment, rate, share and subscribe. There's a subscription button somewhere above, and a like button with, what am I doing? With a thumbs up, because you're not going to put a thumbs down. And see you next week. Comment as well, because I'll always reply. See you later.